guys, it's Miss Simpson, and it is time for Math Today. Guess what we're learning about? Quadrilaterals. We're talking about shapes today. So yesterday we talked about triangles and how to classify triangles because they're a little bit different than other types of shapes. Today we are going to talk about quadrilaterals. So can you say quadrilateral for me? All right, good job. Again, yesterday we talked about triangles. We classify those a little bit different than we do quadrilaterals. So I'm going to go over the different types of quadrilaterals that we are going to see in the 4th grade. So quadrilaterals is one name for all of these shapes. The quadrilateral, all it means is it has 4 sides and 4 angles. So if you have a shape, any shape at all, and it has 4 sides and 4 angles, it is called a quadrilateral. So even if it is a funky looking, well, I just drew a rectangle, but even if it is a rectangle, if it has 4 sides, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 4 angles, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, it is considered a quadrilateral. Next, let's talk about a parallelogram. Now, a parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel lines. Remember, parallel means that they are never going to touch. So this line and this line, they are going to go on and on and on forever, and they are never going to touch. And this line, they're going to go on and on forever, and they're never going to touch. So that has 2 pairs of parallel lines. It also has opposite sides are the same length. So let me get out my marker real quick. That would mean that this side and this side are the same length, and this side and this side are the exact same length. So if you have that, then check. Guess what? A shape can have more than one name. So let's take a look at that rectangle that we have. So we know that a rectangle is most definitely a quadrilateral. So does it have 2 sets of parallel lines? Well, it has this one and this one. So that's 1, and it has this one and this one. That's 2. So does it also have opposite sides are the same length? Well, this side and this side are the same length. And this side and this side are the same length. So, oh my goodness, that is also a parallelogram. Ooh. Let's keep going. Let's learn about a rectangle. A rectangle has 2 pairs of parallel lines. That means this one and this one is parallel, and this one is parallel, just like the parallelogram. A rectangle also has 2 sides that are equal. So these 2 sides are equal. So it's at least 2 sides. This has 4 right angles. Does this have 4 right angles? 1, 2, 3, 4. It does have 4 right angles. So let's take a look at this rectangle I drew. This is a right angle. This is a right angle. This is a right angle. And this is a right angle. It has 2 pairs of parallel lines, and it also has 2 sides that are equal. So guess what? This is also considered a rectangle. If I could blow your mind anymore, let's move on to square. A square has 2 pairs of parallel lines, 4 sides that are equal, and 4 right angles. So guess what? Let's look at that rectangle. Does this have 2 pairs of parallel lines? Well, we already said it does. Does it have 4 sides that are equal? No, it does not, because these sides are equal and these 2 sides are equal. It does have 4 right angles, but a square has to have all sides equal. So this is not a square. Okay, I've got 2 more for you. Hang in there. A rhombus has 2 pairs of parallel lines and 4 sides are equal. So a rhombus looks like this. It is a little slanted. Sometimes it can look a little different, but as long as it has 2 pairs of parallel lines and 4 equal sides, like this one, then it is considered a rhombus. And finally, a trapezoid. It just has to have 1 pair of parallel lines, and that would make it a trapezoid. So in order to make this a little bit easier on you, I'm going to show you this diagram that I have. So if we take a look at the top here, I have a quadrilateral, right? And it has 4 sides and 4 angles. Basically, any shape that has 4 sides and 4 angles is considered a quadrilateral. Now, if I have a parallelogram, so it can be either a parallelogram and then a trapezoid. So if it's a parallelogram, it's going to have two pairs of parallel lines, just like this one does. It has one right here, 1, 2, and then it has them right here. Or it could be a trapezoid and it has one pair of parallel lines. So if it has two pairs of parallel lines, it's a parallelogram and a quadrilateral. If it has one pair of parallel lines, it is a quadrilateral only and trapezoid only. So then let's move on. It splits off again and you have a rectangle or a rhombus. It can either have 4 right angles or 4 sides of equal length. So then you'll choose one of those, and then a square if it has all of those things. So let's take a look at some examples. This is going to help you put it all together. So let's take a look at this one. So we're going to start off with the very tip top of our diagram. And our diagram says 4 sides and 4 angles. Well, if I'm looking at this particular shape, I cannot find my pencil. Here we go. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 angles and 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So guess what? It's a quadrilateral. But that is not where we can stop. We have to go through the whole entire diagram up here. So check it's a quadrilateral. Let's move on and see if it's anything else. So does it have 1 pair of parallel lines or 2 pairs of parallel lines? Well, if I take a look, I see that this one and this one is parallel. And I also see this one and this one is parallel. They're never going to touch. So it has 2 pairs of parallel lines. That makes it also a parallelogram. It can't be a trapezoid. It's a parallelogram. So I'm going to write parallelogram. So let's move on to the next step. So I've done my parallelogram. Now let's see. Does it have 4 right angles or 4 sides of equal length? So you should know by now that these little squares in the corner tell me that's a right angle. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles. So I'm thinking it's a rectangle. Let's check the sides. Now, I know you're at home and you don't really have a ruler. They've done this cool thing for you where they put these little tick marks. That's what I call them, a little tick mark. Notice how this side and this side only have 1. That means they're equal length. And this side and this side have 2. That means those are equal length. But for example, on this one, if there are no marks on it, that means they're not equal. So this one only has 1 pair that is equal. This one, however, has 2. So are all 4 sides of equal length? No. So it can't be a rhombus, but it is a rectangle because it has 4 right angles. So I'm going to write rectangle. And I'm going to go down to the very bottom and I'm going to check square. So we know it has 4 right angles, check. But are all 4 sides equal length? No, they're not. So this is a quadrilateral. It's a parallelogram and it's a rectangle. Woo, that's a lot. So let's take a look at this one. So remember, we start off at the top of our diagram. A quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 angles. So does this have 4 sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it does. Let's check angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So boom, it is a quadrilateral. So now we're going to check our next thing. Does it have 2 pairs of parallel sides or 1 pair of parallel sides? Well, I see right off the bat, hold on for a minute, that this and this are never going to touch ever because they are exactly straight. Something I notice about the other sides are that they're a little bit slanted. So if I were to take these, and I'm just going to draw on this, and I were to extend those sides out all the way down here and all the way down here, wait for it. Are those sides eventually going to cross? Can parallel sides cross? No, they cannot. So guess what? This only has one pair of parallel sides. So it's a trapezoid. And the good thing about trapezoids is they can't be anything else. They're just a quadrilateral and a trapezoid. And we're done there. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you. And we're going to see how it goes. So let's look at this one. Does it have 4 sides and 4 angles? So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. So that means, yes, it's a quadrilateral. Does it have 2 pairs of parallel sides or 1 pair of parallel sides? So if I'm looking at the sides, I always look at the ones across from each other. Now look at these two. If I extend those out forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, this one is a little bit slanted. Let's see. Let's try it out. So I get my ruler and I'm just going to do it about that far. It did not even draw. What in the world? I extend it out. And I'm going to extend this one out. And something that I notice is way far down the road, they're going to cross. Let's check the other sides. Are they parallel? Are they going to eventually cross? And I'm going to give you a hint. If your sides aren't completely straight, they're going to cross. So if they're a little wonky like this one, they're going to cross. So what I learned is this has 0 parallel sides. So if it's got no parallel sides, it's not a parallelogram and it's not a trapezoid. So it's only a quadrilateral. Whoa. Okay, so let's take a look at one more shape. I know I said I was done, but I want to do one more with you. I'm so sorry. Let's look at this one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. So this is a quadrilateral. And again, if it has 4 sides and 4 angles, it's a quadrilateral. So let's go next. Does it have 2 parallel sides or 1 pair of parallel sides? Now, I'm going to look. These look parallel to me. That one? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're parallel. So it's got at least 1 pair. Those are never going to touch ever, ever, ever. Let's check these. Is this one parallel? Yeah. Is it parallel to this one? Woo, yeah, that is parallel. So it's got 2 sets of parallel sides. So that makes it a parallelogram. 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a little erasing so we can see a little bit better. Let's go to our next section. Does it have 4 right angles or 4 sides of equal length? So my tick marks, look at this. I have 1 tick mark, 1, 1, and 1. So that shows me that all of those sides are equal. Are these right angles? They're not. In order for it to be a right angle, it has to have this little square in the corner. So these 4 are not right angles. So it's not a rectangle, but it is a rhombus because it has equal sides. Okay, lastly, if it is a square, it has to have both of these 4 right angles and 4 sides of equal length. And it did not have either of those. Or it did, but only one of them. And it has to have both of them to be a square. All right, guys. So I am going to post this part of this paper onto Canvas. And I hope that your teacher posts this part of the paper on Canvas as well, so that when you're doing your assignment, you can use that to help classify these shapes. So at the very top, you've been given 6 shapes, and you have to tell me classify each figure as many ways as possible. So like I did on here, it might have 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. It might have a bunch of different names. So you've got to check every single one. So do just like I did and go through the steps and check for every single one of these. On the back, you're doing just about the same thing. They just put it in multiple choice for you. So you're going to have to classify this figure. What's the name of it? Classify this figure. So then it's going to ask you a little riddle kind of. What is the name of a quadrilateral that always has 4 right angles? And again, use this right here. And then check what is the name of the figure shown below. And then these 2 are extra credit. So you can do them for extra credit or you do not have to. All right, my loves. So again, when you're classifying them, they're not just going to be one name most of the time. So you have to go through and check every single one of these and make sure that it matches or it doesn't match. If it matches, you might have 3 names on one of them or 2 or 1, but you got to make sure to check this part out first. All right, y'all have fun classifying your quadrilaterals, and tomorrow I will see you for math. All right, bye.